Hello everybody, welcome to this weekend scan, looking ahead for next week. So today is Sunday the 15th of October and we have the S&P E-mini futures chart up here. Okay, so I'm going to give some analysis of some options of what I think might play out next week, just from a technical standpoint. We do have a lighter week of news coming into this week. We're obviously starting earnings season. That started Friday, and we do have some jobless claims. But other than that, a lighter week. There are some Fed speakers early on. Obviously, we have a lot of global events going on at the moment as well. So any headline can really change the look of this market very quickly. So you have to be very careful in terms of your risk assessment. But let's dive into the technicals here. So this is a weekly chart here on the ES. Okay, and as predicted last week, we had that drive upwards before a failed breakout. Okay, on a retest into this level. Okay, so if we just think about this from a structural point of view, we did our lower low, a lower high, a lower low. Okay, and then we were assuming that we'd have some form of retest on this break of structure, okay, on the demand turn supply, and potentially now we could be looking for the new leg lower. So that's where my head is at straight away based off a weekly chart. I want to follow the momentum. The only way this could potentially change for me would be if we failed to violate this here and we reclaimed this supply and turned it into demand, and then I'd be potentially interested in a long, but I'd be very aware of these areas up here. Okay, we have never actually retested this high, but I think the likelihood at the moment of this kind of move happening seems slim. Momentum is definitely to the downside. Okay, so this would be our break of structure that we would be targeting for a leg down. If I look on a fib basis from the October low to the high, we are still not in a discount of this range. Okay, so I'm still expecting lower prices from this range. And I would have confidence here because we have these areas from this old resistance where we broke down and then we failed to really get above. It's quite a wide area here really, sort of 41, 4200 all the way down. So we could mark out this area here as a potential demand spot based on a weekly. And the lower side of that, okay, would line up with the 50% mark. We obviously have lots of areas of liquidity down here where swing buyers would have stepped into the market. Going down onto a daily time frame, we can look at this and start to refine this. So as you can see here on the daily, we had that push into the retest, okay, and we started failing Thursday and Friday. So from a daily point of view, if I wanted this to remain bullish, I'd really want it to hold this golden zone. But in fact, by the time we got down there, I think we've taken out some pretty key levels. Again, if we think about just how structure works, if we were going to use these legs here on the way down, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, we would need to pivot here to make the move up. Okay, if we have a drawdown too deep, other than a potential inverse head and shoulders, and using this liquidity, really I think buyers would be in trouble. So from a daily bullish scenario, for me, sort of these levels here that we've tapped into would really need to hold. Okay, I'm going to do this a bit fainter as well. It's not a huge level that I'm interested in, but it is still key nonetheless, and we'll pull that down. sure I get that right on the body. Okay, so we basically tapped into that on Friday before catching a bounce. So buyers did step in there. Could have also just been shorts covering, not wanting to hold over the weekend with everything so volatile. But for now, we are in a downtrend. Okay, so we created this flag, broke down from it. We then did the pullback that we were talking about, okay, into the golden zone before rolling back down. So we were looking for that last week. We got that roll back down. So now we really need to see if we can get a continuation pattern for lower prices and really start to attack these levels down here. Beyond that, we have our SMAs. So our 200 on a daily, you can see this was a key level that we held before. Okay, so it could be a level that we look to retest, which is in line of the mark. We're looking for a break of structure for a continuation phase down. And we also have the 50. So on Thursday, we drove up to the 50, tagged it. Okay, that's a big spot for a lot of swing traders, and again failed. So at the moment, we're trapped between the 200 and the 50. Obviously, we get huge continuation if these ever cross. Okay, massive continuation if they ever cross. As you can see, we got that breakout here with the 50 crossed above the 200. And we had like the big breakdown phase where we had that 50 cross, tried to reclaim, failed, and broke down. So that's something I am aware of on a higher time frame. Beyond that, we can look at some anchored VWAPs. So we can go from the last pivot high. And before. Okay, and we can go from the recent low. I'm going to take these SMAs back off now. And we're also doing the same dance. Okay, so sellers have managed to hold this down on these swing position shorts as we've started to, like a basketball, roll down. Okay, one bounce, tiny more bounce, lower low, another bounce, could phase down here. This gives me confidence in this old area here, lining up perfectly here with the anchored VWAP. So if we start violating that and closing below, I'm going to know these buyers are in trouble, and then I'm definitely expecting a drive lower. I'm going to go into a 1 hour now. And you can see how close some of these levels are. We're starting to trap between range. On a 1 hour, you can see we used liquidity really nicely. Okay, and really we've started to break this neckline here. So I'd want that to remain heavy if we were seeking lower prices, which is what we did on Friday. We retested it and broke. So really, this is a very key level for me now. This sort of retest of this area, I'd want to see it stay heavy. 43.70. And then we could dig in and look for lower prices. So my first target would be this ball of liquidity sitting down here on an hourly. And underneath it, you have obviously this huge level, which would be the breaker structure for continuation. Okay, so ideally, we might not get this retest, but it would be nice if we got one more retest. I don't even mind a little trap play here to get bulls interested before we sweep, start to move down, and potentially all the way down here. That would be the move I'm ideally looking for. We would have to have confluence in that play. I'd be looking for VIX to play its part in the role. Okay, so all the time VIX is above this 18 mark here. Okay, all the time we're basing above this and starting to extend. I think the market has some real struggle moving upwards. I think it's far more likely. Okay, if VIX can do this, then the market will really start to attack that potential break of structure. Look at a daily on VIX. We definitely have to have the opportunity to do that. We have some liquidity sitting up here. So really a breakout of, let's call it 2140, 2150. You know, we really have the chance then to break higher into the 25s. And at that point, I think you really see that capitulation market. It will start to get very heavy very quickly if we start to do that. You've got to remember, bulls have been in total control this year for a very long time. And the Dixie, you can see exactly the same. Okay, it's holding a beautiful trend. Holding all its breakouts. You had this old supply here, now becomes support. Okay, which we've retested on Thursday. We've held. We do have some supply up here. And I would not be surprised to see the Dixie really try and push and break through that. You've got an imbalance above it before you're into a true supply block. Okay, so there's a good chance it can drive through here, rebalance this and start driving higher. Does it need to happen next week? Absolutely not. This is a big move. It can take a long time to play out. Clearly above this. And in terms of a fib, we're almost into premium. Okay, so I would like to see it drive into that golden pocket. That would give me the same thesis to take ES short into the golden pocket on ES until the ES gets into discount. So everything is starting to line up here. The only thing we have to the only thing we need to be careful about is the weekly model. Okay, so I like to play a weekly model of a 5-day week. And I like the extremes of the week to be set between Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so one of these needs to hold. So the ideal scenario for me, if I was looking for lower prices, would be something like this, which is sort of what we got last week. Okay, and to dig down lower. If we're going to get a trend week, you know, maybe the high of the week is just set on Monday and Tuesday, and we just do a trend week down. Okay, and on Friday, we don't know. We have to see if we're risk on and risk off. But that would mean the high of the week would be set on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, and then we'd take out the Tuesday low and have a trend down week. That would also be very viable. So I am prepared for that. I do think we've accomplished the balance that we were looking for a move lower. We came right into this 61, so I'm going to assume lower prices next week. So really it's going to be about drilling down to a lower time frame to see where I can get involved in each swing point. We're going to have to see where we open on Sunday, how Monday looks. But ideally I want to get below these anchored VWAPs and really start attacking into 4,300 and below. Which means really I'm looking for a continuation. So I'm looking for this bear flag to form, which we started forming, and a break below. So something like this for next week would be the ideal scenario for me. I am looking for lower prices now. I am looking to take out this structure here. I don't think it's particularly strong structure. I don't think there's a good level of demand put in here. And I think this level down here of, let's just call it 4,200, all the way down 4,060, looks like a much better value area where buyers might step in and where shorts might step to cover. So that's what I'm looking for next week. I'm looking for a weekly model, ideally of a Monday, Tuesday high, a violation of Monday, Tuesday low, and a continuation lower. That's what I'll be looking for. I can't give too much more other than that at the moment. Obviously, we have these supply levels up here. But ideally, for the best price, I want a higher price for a short. So a push up and a retest into it would be nice on a Monday, Tuesday. Possibly a Wednesday fail breakout for the move down. Otherwise, just a continuation play. That's what I'm looking for. Short video this week. Please trade safe, trade responsibly. If you want to know more, you know what to do. Like and subscribe to this video and my channel. Share this video with anyone that you think it might help. Until next week, be safe. I'll speak to you Monday.